Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. Tonight we're gonna be playing some Flesh and Blood, and we got Bravo up on the docket. Bravo is I love Bravo. Like Bravo's cool. I've always enjoyed Bravo's like play style. I like the Guardian play style as a whole. Tonight I'm gonna be playing Pablo Pintor's list from Birmingham this past weekend. There were 3 Bravos in the top 8 of that event, and honestly, I kind of look at that event and I say there were 3 Bravos in the top 8, but there were 2 Bravos and there was Pablo. Like that's I think Pablo's kind of like Michael Hamilton and Brody Spurlock. He could win with a ham sandwich. So Pablo Pintor is an awesome player, and so to see him on Bravo, he had a few interesting things that I wasn't really thinking about. He did end up playing Warmonger's Diplomacy in his list, and I'm gonna be honest, that was pretty sweet. I thought that was cool. I was pleasantly surprised to see Warmonger's Diplomacy in the Bravo list, because I had talked about that when Dust Till Dawn first came out, and it didn't really seem, a lot of people seemed to kind of think I was a little crazy. So I'm glad to see that he did well with that. Kind of confirms my suspicions that I'm not completely an idiot. So anyway, but let's go ahead and jump in to the games. I took his list and I tried to put together some sideboard matchups, like some of the more popular matchups that I feel like I'm going to be seeing and like playing against moving forward. So I've got a few put together here. I feel like Briar, Viserai, and Vincent all kind of fit together. I'm a big fan of the whole Titan's Fist Stillbraid Buckler combo. Like I think Stillbraid Buckler is like one of the coolest cards that nobody thought was going to see play. So I'm pretty excited to see that it's actually seeing play. I like that card a lot. And Pablo was on AB2. And he's on 71 cards. This list is very like the most interesting card to me, honestly, out of the entire list was Blue Findle's Fighting Spirit. That was by far the most interesting card that I saw in his list. I was pretty caught by that card, honestly. I have never seen a Bravo play that, and so I was pretty surprised to see that in his list. But again, Pablo, as a general rule, I'm going to defer to Pablo when it comes to games. So against Briar, we want to go first. Good luck and have fun. And we got Briar, Viserai, and Vincent all here in one. So we're going Titan's Fist, Buckler, or we're going nothing, apparently. Don't really know why my opponent left, but anyway. So we were going to go Titan's Fist, Buckler, Crown of Providence, Tectonic Plating, Crater Fist, and then AB1. There are some Briar turns that really, I think require us to have AB. We can't really race Briar that regularly without kind of putting ourselves in a bad spot. Briar just has a pretty good matchup into us with the whole Embodiment of Earth thing. So having 3, 5, 8, 11 block, and then 11 equipment block, and then AB1 is really good for us because there's a lot of turns where we can pitch certain things. Against Levia, I think we want to go first against Levia, I think is what I put in my matchup notes. Anothos, I think, is definitely better in this matchup personally. And so what we're doing against Levia is we're cutting Warmonger's Diplomacy and we're cutting Sigil of Solace, and we're leaving everything else in the deck and just trying to play a value-oriented game plan against them. So I'm curious to see how this matchup goes, honestly. Let's open up our nationals testing. And then I'll have to start a new thread here in a minute. So I guess we can just dominate a Chokeslam and Arsenal the Command and Conquer. Dominating a Chokeslam on turn 0 is always sweet. Being able to dominate anything on turn 0 is honestly really cool. Now our opponent does get to play Husk, which is a little tough for us, I feel like, at times. Let's copy our Vincent. Create a copy, move to end. And then we'll kind of go from here. We'll use Vincent, our And then we'll rename this Bravo. Talishar, Levia, and we're going first. Our opponent probably already hates me, but that's fine. They'll just have to live with the circumstances for just a moment here. So we pushed through 5 damage on the first turn, which is kind of cool. This hand is pretty good. We can pitch the Unmovable to play Rouse. That's terrifying. Rolling a 6 to start the game. Not bad, opponent. We get to go Rouse into Command and Conquer, which I feel like is a pretty good line of play. Yeah, we pitch the Unmovable to play Rouse, reveal Cranial Crush, Spinal Crush, and then we'll make a Surge, throw the Command and Conquer, and then we'll Arsenal the Spinal Crush, try to set up a little bit. Why you always gotta stream so late, dude? I'm sorry, it's late for you, man. I live in the eastern part of the United States, and so it's 7 o'clock. It's 10 after 7 where I'm at right now, and so this is about when I get home from work and this is when I finally get something to eat and I can sit down. I was streaming at 6 for a while, but my day was so rushed. Like, my day felt genuinely so rushed. It just never really seemed worth. So, remember Padawan, more smork? I have no idea what that means, but I'm going to start saying more smork all the time. More smork, Captain! I like that. That's fun. So, Rouse, pitch the Unmovable. We'll show our 2 cards. My opponent must have a good hand. And then the Command and Conquer, not being it's just a 2 for 6 here, but we're still getting to have a 13-point turn here. I guess we could have just thrown we could just throw the hammer, make a Surge with the Spinal Crush and throw the hammer, but I like having the Crippling Crush or the Spinal Crush in my arsenal. I can keep 2 cards and dominate it. We'll go Cranial Crush and then Unmovable. Ew, this hand's rough. I'm in the EU, so it's always so late for me. I'm sorry, man. I hate that. I love having people from around the world in my chat and being able to talk to them, but man, I honestly I hate that for some of you guys, it's just you guys don't really get to hang out or really do a lot just because of the timing and how it all pans out. So I hate that. Make sure to check him on weekends. Look at Kyle. Kyle being the real MVP right here, plugging me. Ugh. I guess we're just gonna go Crown, and we're gonna put our Spinal Crush on the bottom, and then we can throw the Crippling Crush and Arsenal the Staunch Response. Is what the floor of our turn looks like. They've had this pretty good turn, pretty good start from them. What? You stream pretty early most weekends? Oh, I thought you were just plugging me, man. Just trying to help a brother out. But I do stream pretty early on the weekends. I try to start when I get one of those longer bigger days going. When I get an 8 or 10 hour stream going, I try to start around 10 or 11 a.m. On the weekends so that I can get most of the day in. Now, it's not flesh and blood all day. I'm definitely getting other things in throughout the course of the day, but I do enjoy being able to stream most of the day. It's kind of nice. I'm doing both. That's the real MVP work right there, man. Let me tell you. Kyle's a true homie. So, hey, what's up, Shark? Thanks for the alert, brother. I'll be sure to turn you on, man, when I'll be sure to turn your stream on here in a few minutes whenever you go live. So, this is for 6. So, if I pitch Starstruck for Staunch Response, I can block Chokeslam pitch Fighting Spirit to throw a surge, make a surge, or make a surge and throw Command and Conquer. It's not a bad turn cycle for us. Yeah, we'll just cover this up and then force them to use their crown this turn. Pitching Starstruck's not bad for us. Turn him on. Pause. Wait. Pause. Yeah, dude, I said it and I was like, that's not what I meant, but... yeah, I heard it the way you heard it, so... Kyle, what are you up to right now, man? Thought you guys were going to the gym or something. Oh, no, wait. You guys said you weren't going to go because I remember Uncle Mark said he wasn't, his knees were kind of hurting or something, I think is what you guys said. Can't exactly remember, but... well, I got the old 5-card hand here, which means I need them to have a mediocre gloves roll. I mean, this is a good hand. Like, I also have all of my equipment left to block with, and I'm up 3 points here, so I feel like I'm in a pretty decent position. We're just trying to play Bravo Go Burr right now. Correct, and my nap I'm still recovering from. It's weird, but the older I've gotten, the more I understand that. The older I have gotten, the more I understand what it is feels like to recover from a nap. I think this deck is set up in a way that's just like it's so hard for them to whiff. So if I give them... I think I can take 5 here. Go to 13. I think that's my play. When they come in with this claw, I think we're going to give them Cranial Crush and Tech Plating to stay at 13. And then depending on what they do last here, we'll kind of assess our turn here. Jesus. Okay. Well, now we're blocking with everything because, like, I'm probably going to try to hang on to the Zealous Belting if I can here, but... God, and this is for 10? I really want to hang on to the Zealous Belting. I feel like this will put me in a good place. Like, Zealous Belting is, like, leads to a bigger turn for me, so I'm going to try to Arsenal this and set it up. So... block Pummel Crippling Crush here. Yeah, they're going to throw 2 attacks at me, so we might just be blocking 11 here. Like, we might be in the blocking spot. They had 2 Blood Rush turns before we had anything, so... let's block 5, stay where we're at, and see what they do. I guess we can block 6 and go to 4 here. There's a lot of defense reactions in our deck, so I think we're just going to try and hang on as long as we can here. If we're ever given an opportunity where we get to keep 2 cards, then we almost assuredly have... have an 11-point turn. If they have a turn where they don't play 2 things, we're going to be good to go. But they haven't done that yet. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, I'm going to throw the Fate at this and block this out. I can't kill it, so we're just going to have to... Yeah, we'll put that on top, I think. Staunch is a good card here. I need to be able to keep 2 blues where I can throw... Oh, double Staunch? God, that's terrible. So I need a hand where I can keep 2 blues and I can throw... My opponent has rolled 2 6s and a 5. Insane. Yeah, if we never keep 2 blues, we can throw Zealous Belting at them and then hammer... And then hammer the Blasphemate token. Like, they just played, like, turn 2 was Blood Rush, turn 4 was Blood Rush for them, so I would honestly consider this a little bit of a high roll for them. You know, I'm batting over 700. Why are they still pitching to me? They shouldn't be pitching to you if you're batting 700. That's nonsense. You're batting 700, your jersey should be retired and you should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I don't care if it's your rookie season. Like, batting 700 is absolutely nonsense. I don't think there's a way for me to survive. Like... Interesting. Interesting. We're going to take 9 and go to 6 because they had no way to turn off Blood Debt. How did they do that? Levia Redeemed wasn't on the field. I don't understand how they did that, but... I'm in the minors at the moment. You're batting, like... So they should have called you up. Like, I just feel like that's, like, absolute nonsense that they haven't called you up. What does this say? 3 6s and a 5. You may play a card with Blood Debt from your Banish Zone. Whenever a card is put into your Banish Zone, turn it face down. You would lose life. Okay. Oh, yeah. So this is how they just kill me like this. So we're just going to take 3 and die. Yep. Well played, opponent. Like, they had turn 2 Blood Rush, turn 4 Blood Rush. Like, I mean, old Levia could draw like that and win. So, all right. Well, off to a rocky start here with a big L to start out our night, but that is okay. Let's update the record. Gotta find it. Let's see. This just... Okay. They're looking for Lexi, and I'm not playing Lexi tonight, so we're just going to have to make a different game and let somebody come to us. I feel like that game was a good representation of how Levy has gotten upgrades, though. Like, we saw multiple turns back. Like, we saw, like I think it was like 3 turns in a row where they played 2 cards, like, where they had 2 attacks. And, like, old school Levia didn't do that. Old school Levia just blocked 6 and then attacked for, like, 6 or 8. And just played, like, had above or 8 turns, like, and just tried to, like, make that work. And, like, it just wasn't good enough. So... Demagogue. Dimmadome? Owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome? Alright, so Anothos, Null Rune Hood, Null Rune Boots, and then we got Plating and Crater Fist in case they're on some of the attacks. We're going to cut Fate, Sinks, and Staunches here. I'm going to leave in Warmonger's Diplomacy, not because it's a great card to play against them, but because it is a very... it's a blue, and it blocks 3 if I need it to, so And we're going to leave in the sigils, obviously. Talishar, Iyslander, and I will go first. Kind of surprised to see them pick that they want me to go first. I don't really know why they would choose to let me go first if they have the opportunity to like set up a like if they could, there's multiple chances they could set things up here. So let's pitch the Fighting Spirit. And then let's just get cards out of their deck, because there is a possibility that if they're not a good Iyslander, we can fatigue them, especially if they're going to give me a Meritus Scolding and Ice Bolt on the first turn. So, I definitely pitched the wrong cards there. I definitely did not mean to pitch Macho Grande. Or, I mean, I definitely did not mean to pitch Cranial Crush. I wanted to keep Macho Grande. Or I wanted to keep the Cranial Crush. My brain's having a stroke right now. But we'll see what we can do. This is exactly the kind of hand I did not want them to have. Okay. Like, this is the kind of hand that, like, is not good for me at all. So they are playing Bullander, which I honestly think is, like, a sweet pick right now. I'm having a stroke listening to you having a stroke. Yeah, dude, that was not my best moment for sure. Playing Channel the Bleak Expanse. Interesting. And they reveal an Insidious Chill. So I guess I can AB2 with the Zealous Belting and the Spinal Crush. Maybe I'm supposed to just AB nothing, take 4. No, I'll just discard a Zealous Belting. Like, I don't really think that there's a reason for that. Let's see if they respond to the Seismic Surge. So they're going to play their Insidious Chill, I guess in hopes that a Frostbite will stop my turn. But it won't, so unless they're going to use their Storm Striders, the only other thing they're going to do from here is Waning Moon me. And that's maybe they'll Waning Moon me. Getting these Sigil of Solaces off early is kind of sweet. Puts us back in the... It gives us more room to play with. Now, unfortunately, Iyslander is one of the best decks in the game at playing catch-up, so... Nope. It's like, I'm not having this nonsense. Yeah, I'm gonna pitch the Pummel here because it plays very well into what I'm trying to do. And then we're just going to throw Macho Grande for A Dominate, have 2 resources floating so that we can AB2. We pitched a Spinal Crush just a minute ago. That'll be in our first hand, which means when we get to second cycle, if we have the chance to get to second cycle, then that means that we'll be in a spot where we have Spinal Crush Pummel. And the Spinal Crush effect isn't super relevant, but the Pummel effect is very good for us. We're going to go Terra Sunder, disable Warmongers. Again, another triple red hand. Interesting. Wonder what the 1 is for. Oh, they're pitching a yellow to throw Fighting Spirit at me. So we can take 7, go to 35. Throw Hammer, and we'll pitch the Spinal and the Showtime so that our hammer's for 6, and then we'll just arsenal our Sigil of Solace here. I think that's probably one of our best lines. And if they go to, like, make us pay or discard, we'll just play the Sigil in response. Like, it's not like we have to, like, try to hold on to the Sigil for anything. I was just thinking that we can hold on to the Sigil. I mean, I guess we'll just go ahead and do this. Now, I mean, I guess that does give them the coast is clear to go ahead and Waning Moon me. Like, I mean, they were going to Waning Moon me regardless, but this just, like, clears up that they're going to push through the 3 damage. Their turn could be block 6, make me pay 1 or discard a card, and then arsenal their last card. So, like, I don't know. It definitely feels like they're in a favorable position for right now, if you guys want the truth, but I'm not always great at telling that stuff. Like, there's 39 blues in our deck, and this is like our second triple red hand that we've drawn. Oh, man. I mean, they're probably going to play their card, like, whatever it is, but... Hey, what's going on, Ben? How are you, boss? Yep. Will A be 1? I mean, there's got to be blues coming up, right? Like, we have to have blues somewhere in our deck. It's our second triple red hand through 5 hands. Through 5 or 6 hands. Like, I don't know. That's pretty tough variance. Like, for a game that doesn't contain a lot of variance, that's pretty tough variance. They're not relying on their Frost Hexes at all to try and kill me, which is interesting, which means they're not going for, like, combo Icelander kill. Just means they're just going to try and, like, beat me down with, like, generic damage. Yeah, let's just discard that. Let's pay 1 for the Command and Conquer, and then I'm just going to throw Spinal Crush here and have 1 resource left to AV stuff. Like, at the end of the day, this is a race between, like, how quickly can, like, I attack them and get their, like, just kill them, basically, before they're able to cobble together enough arcane damage. You know, I wish Kano was more of, like, a burn strategy for Magic, like a red deck wins kind of strategy, as opposed to, like, the combo strategy that it is. There's a handful of blues. Yeah, we'll pay for the Debilitate. And then I guess we'll just throw a Thunderquake here. Like, we'll just throw 8 at our opponent. We threw 9 last turn, we're going to throw 8 this turn. I could have went for throw hammer into Arsenal Rouse and try to set up a Rouse turn. I'm convinced they have a red card in their arsenal, that or it's like a Ice Eternal that they're trying to set up and like try to get me with here. Let's throw hammer for 4. When we have to throw hammer for 4 is when we get into a bad spot. That's when I don't feel very good about my turn cycle anymore. So that's unfortunate. I guess had I pitched... No, I can't do that. Like, if my opponent wants to start the turn over, they can. So had I pitched red Chokeslam Thunderquake and tried not to get like too greedy with my turn and tried to make... Like, I tried to make it to where I could keep my Chokeslam in my arsenal, but they had a blue Ether Ice Vein that allowed them to strip my last card. So I could have AB'd 1 and I could be at 23 right now. I'm either going to be... I was like... So I'd be at 20 when the turn ended instead of 19. We'll see how they deal with the 4 damage here. They go to 15. So block 6, tech plating into hammer. I could have tried to throw the crippling crush. Like, I could have just like taken damage to throw the crippling crush, but I don't think that's where I wanted to be. Like, maybe I'm supposed to activate Bravo and then go for the crippling crush from there. I don't know. And like force them to use their Storm Striders. I don't really know what was correct there. If anybody thinks that something else was correct, I'm happy to hear about it. I mean, again, we block 5 with Chokeslam and Pummel. Take 3, go to 14. I was like, that or the line is like try to throw the Chokeslam with Pummel backup, but we have a Surge, so I'm curious to see how they play. I mean, I'd like to hang on to the Terra Sunder because a Terra Sunder Hammer would be pretty good for me. I definitely don't feel like I'm winning this game. Like, this is not a game that I feel like I'm in the driver's seat of. Which is funny because I watched Pablo be in the driver's seat and then like it just kind of all fell apart. And I don't really think that's Pablo's fault. Like, maybe there's something I missed and he could have done something differently to make the game better for himself. But it honestly more feels like Iyslander just kind of did its thing at the end of the game. So I can go for Terra Sunder Hammer or I can go for Zealous Belting Hammer, and I think Zealous Belting Hammer is just a better line for me. It's more damage, less on hit effect, but more damage. I mean, like, so we're gonna AB2 this and take 2. Waning Moon can put me to 7. But then they're forced between... I mean, I would go for the Waning Moon here. Like, it puts me to 7. And then they get to block if they want, take 2, go to 10. And then not only... Like, yeah, it's just... This is not looking good for me. Like, they can go to... They can block 3, go to 10, or they can just join me at 7. Either way, I suppose. So I can block 5. No check to gain life here, unfortunately, but we're still blocking 5. Now, they could have drawn a card that, like, blows me out here, and if I go for the Terra Sunder, like, I can't make this 7, so I don't really see a point in, like, going for the Terra Sunder here. Let's just hammer and see if they play anything on my turn, because if they go for anything, then, like, it's, like, I don't know. I mean, they could kill us, I suppose. They have to let the attack happen. They go to 3. And then... Yeah, that's fine, opponent. Okay, so they're just going to give me equipment and everything here. I guess they're saying that if I have the blue and the pummel, that they're playing around it. Like, we're just going to block 6 here. And then they're probably going to throw another attack at me. Yeah, which is only for 7. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to go to 6 and then they're going to kill me. Like, 99% chance. I mean, I would say it's probably like roughly a 90% chance that I'm going to die. Like, I'd say that there being a 10% chance that I don't die here, like, it's possible. They do have to have 6 points. So they have to have an arcane spell in their hand and or their arsenal to be able to kill me here. Yeah, I'm just going to concede here. So, yeah, that was... Like, I never had a chance to get ahead. Like, I never had a chance to get ahead, which is tough. Like, the Bulllander strategy is what people need to be playing to beat up on the Guardians, in my opinion. Like, if you're not on Bulllander, I don't think the all arcane damage version of the deck is going to beat the Guardian heroes personally, but also only playing AB2, like I also don't know how many more blues like I can put in the deck. Like, I'm taking out Staunch Response, Sink Below, and Fate Foreseen. And like, I drew at least 2. I honestly think it was at least 2, and I genuinely think there was 3 triple red hands. Yep, good luck, have fun. I am not set up to play this matchup at all. I think we want a Nothos, and then we want all of our blocking equipment. The defense reactions seem good. We can cut sigils. Like, I like having all of my defense reactions here. Maybe I'm supposed to cut staunches and just play sinks and movables. Like, that seems fine. And then I like Zealous Belting. Chokeslam's good. Maybe we're just playing the 65 card special here. Starstruck? Yeah, I mean, I think this is relevant. Like, I think we're just playing 65 cards here, which is fine. Bracers of Belief, huh? So let's pitch Command and Conquer to make a surge. And then we'll play Showtime. And I guess we'll go get a Crippling Crush. And we'll just pass here. Arsenal our Crippling Crush. And then this is a phenomenal hand. Being able to have Zealous Belting go again into a potential dominated Crippling Crush, I think is worth taking some damage. Because they have 2, 4, 5 equipment block if they want it. What is this for 9? Three, 5, 7, 9. Like, they're not gonna Dreadbore me here. I don't think the on hit is super relevant. Like, I could just take 9, go to 31, take a Frailty token, and then take a Pox token, which basically puts me at 29. And the reload is probably not going to be super relevant. So I think our turn's good enough to where I'm okay saying we can make this happen. Like we can take some damage here to. So 2, 4, 7, 8. So let's see what they do here. I mean, I guess this next thing costs 6. Yeah, so I need 8. So let's make a surge, throw the Crippling Crush, and then we'll Arsenal our Fate Foreseen. I could dominate the Crippling Crush, but I don't honestly think it's going to be what we want to be. Like, because if I dominate it, they can give me Crown, Perch Grapplers, and a card from hand for 7, and then they don't have to worry about anything. This is obviously a trap of some variety. Like, no pun intended, this is just like literally a trap. That or they're just going to discard cards. All right, so they're going to go to 31. We're going to go to 29. And then we're going to Arsenal our Fate Foreseen. I don't think it really matters. So Rouse, Hammer, Arsenal the Starstruck after playing a Fate Foreseen. I mean, it doesn't seem too bad. I'm more incentivized to block now because of the Premeditate, because they only have 1 card left, which means this is going to be for 10. What is happening? Like, why am I lagging so bad right now? Like, all right, Talishar is crapping the bed right now, it appears. Because I literally am just trying to, like, block in a timely fashion. Uh-oh. It's not Talishar, internet went out. Okay. It looks like the internet's back up. The internet just, like, died for a couple seconds. That was pretty weird. Chat, can you guys hear me? Am I still coming through? Huh. Okay. Let's see if this works. Yeah, okay, so the stream's still up and running. Man. Alright, that was weird. Well. Yeah, I don't know if it's my internet right now or what that was. I don't know what is going on. I swear, if Talashar's like service went down again or some crap like that, like, dude, I'm oh, I really hope that's not what happened. It's literally like my internet is just running at like negative speeds right now. So we're playing against Fi, which is honestly something I didn't think I would have to like prepare for. Talishar, Fi, and I'm going second. For anybody who's a Bravo fan but hasn't played against Fi before, you definitely want to go second in the matchup. Cut Staunches, cut Sigil of Solace. We can cut Warmonger's Diplomacy. They're not really like playing non-attack actions, and if they are, they're not really playing it against us. So, I mean, that's 62 cards right there. Starstruck looking really good. Like, yeah, let's try it like this. I'm going to try to hang on to the Zealous Belting if I can, because that'll give us a pretty decent push out ahead of our opponent here in the early game. So, sorry for the like lag issues there, everybody. I don't really know what happened there. I think my internet went out for a minute. I'm not sure if it was my internet or if it was like Talishar. Like, it's either Talishar is like not loading properly or like Talishar is not loading properly or my internet's like struggling right now, and I really don't know what it is. This actually works out super well for us because we can just throw the Fate Foreseen here. We'll see what we can opt with here. Give us a little bit of insight on what our turn's looking like. I think we're gonna bottom that. I don't really think we want to rouse. It doesn't play to our Zealous hand, and I don't want to get like 2 showtimes and like my hand be unplayable or something like that. So we'll throw Zealous Belting and see how they block. Depending on what our opponent does here, we might throw the Command and Conquer. We might not. I'm honestly not sure. I would like to be able to hang on to Command and Conquer until I get some pummels going. That would be ideal, but doesn't always work out that way. Guys, thanks for hanging out tonight. I know that the lag issues a moment ago wasn't exactly ideal, but I appreciate y'all hanging out. I like throwing the Command and Conquer because it forces them to make a choice. Like, if they're not gonna block the Zealous Belting, if they block with if they throw a card at the Zealous Belting, I'm just gonna hammer them here because it means that like I don't know. I don't feel like we're like gonna be the tax that we would be putting on them is not enough to warrant me like feeling like that's okay. But if they like reinforce the line, okay. I mean, that's fine. We still got a card out of their hand and a card out of their arsenal, so that was worth to me as far as I'm concerned. Probably going to try to use my equipment this turn to make it worthwhile so that I can go Chokeslam Pummel. Like, Chokeslam Pummel's pretty good. Actually, I can dominate the Chokeslam, and then I can Arsenal the Pummel and try to hang on to that for, like, a Spinal Crush or a... They're just going to pass their turn. So we make a Surge. Man, if that Pummel was a blue, we could Terrace under Chokeslam here, which would be insane. So let's make another Surge since we already have a Surge effect here. We'll activate Bravo. And then we'll throw Chokeslam for a Dominate. This does turn off their Phoenix Flame or a E-Strike if they want to go for an E-Strike play here. Now, maybe based off the fact that they passed with 2 cards in hand, tells me that they have a defense reaction of some variety in their arsenal. So could be a it could be another Reinforce Align. Like 5 playing Reinforce Aligns become very common. Ooh. I wonder if Fi's may be the way to go with all of the Icelander popping back up. Fi can play Warmonger's Diplomacy just like everything else can. So it's a 0-cost blue block 3 that pitches into Kadachi's. So I mean, maybe that's like, maybe Fi is something that I should be considering. Feels a little out there for me to think about playing Fi if you want the God's honest truth, but we were very fortunate to not have to use any of our equipment last turn, so shoo! This is what we're looking for. Like, I need to use my equipment very wisely this turn. I need to be able to keep the... It can't gain power, so that's where that comes from. So I'm gonna... might be a mistake to give them this on turn on the second attack. Maybe I'm just supposed to play into the fact that I need it on the third. I can use Starstruck to block here. I can go Surge, Command and Conquer, hold the Pummel. Interesting. So I really think Command and Conquer Pummel is just worth maybe I'm just supposed to Crown here and just go for Dominate on the Starstruck. Like maybe that's a better line of play. I don't know. What do you guys think? If you guys are watching this, I need to know what y'all think about that, because I don't know that I agree with the line of play that I just made, but getting value out of my Crown of Providence is always a good thing, I think. So now this costs 6, so we're going to make a Surge, we're going to activate Bravo, and then we're going to try to strike them with some stars. Arsenal Command and Conquer here. If they have a 3 block in hand and they have a Reinforce Align, then they can block 7 and take 3, go to 24, and then they're still left with either 3 cards in an arsenal, or they're left with 2 cards. I'm sorry. They're left with 2 cards in an arsenal, or they're left with 3 cards in their three. God, I'm having a stroke. If they play block with card from hand, play Reinforce Align from it. You guys get what I'm trying to say. They're left with 3 cards if that's the play they have. If they don't have a Reinforce Align, okay, so Sink Below also leaves them with 3 cards in hand. So the Command and Conquer actually would have been, like, Command and Conquer Pummel play would have been insanely good for me, actually. I would have been very inefficient with my equipment block, but it would have been insanely good for me. I mean, I'm curious to see what they do here. So they're going to play Art of War when they only have access to 3 cards. One, Daniel Rutkowski used to subscribe to the idea that you don't want Art of Wars against Bravo. So I'm intrigued that, one, they have Art of Wars in. Oh, they are playing Warmongers Diplomacy. Interesting. I'm also intrigued that, like, I don't know. Like, that's just, it's interesting to me because, like, Daniel Rutkowski is, like, probably one of the best 5 players in the world. He was, like, for the longest time. Like, I'm not saying he's bad now. I'm just saying, like, I haven't seen him play in a while, so I don't know. So we have a couple of options here. I can pitch Cranial Crush to play the Unmovable to cover this up. I can give Tech Plating and Crater Fist to dominate a Starstruck. I think I'm just supposed to play the Unmovable here. Like, if I play the Unmovable here, the only thing that blows me out is Razor Reflex. Even if they have Ancestral Empowerment, it doesn't save them here. And they've already blocked with 1 Empowerment. And then I'll take 4, go to 26. And then they'll Phoenix Flame me for 2. And again, I'll just take 2. I have no reason to block this, so I go to 24. And then since they don't have an arsenal, I'm probably better off just throwing Hammer. Like, let's just make a Surge and throw the Hammer, I suppose. Throwing Hammer is honestly, like, a great play. Like, it's something that, like, I feel like when I'm playing Bravo recently, I haven't been doing enough of. And so I'm trying to get into the habit of making sure that I'm using Hammer more often. Because throwing Command and Conquer there, like, I can make a Surge and throw Command and Conquer. It's a 6-point turn where I make a Surge. The only difference is that I get to keep the Starstruck instead of keeping the Command and Conquer. So, and Command and Conquer is one of my cards that, like, I really need to utilize to take value off of, like, their board and, like, what they're trying to accomplish. Okay. They play Art of War off of a 4-card hand. Interesting. They probably won't. And they discard, so they banish a Lava Burst knowing that they have Snaps up. This tells me immediately that their hand was, like, super awkward. I have 2 defense reactions in my hand, so I'm not going to worry about playing. I'm not going to worry about blocking the Kodachis and, like, trying to make a thing of this. What is this for 5? So pitch Debilitate and play Unmovable. They can't Empowerment this, so again, the only thing that blows me out here is Razor, and I have Fate to cover that up if I need it. I'm pitching the Debilitate because Debilitate's effect has more value than the blue Chokeslam, in my opinion. The -2 is worth more than the Chokeslam's can't gain power effect. So they're arsenaling a card here. It could be the 3rd Reinforce the Line. I'm not sure. If it's a Sink Below, like, Sink Below is pretty good for me here. The only bad thing about the Command and Conquer play is that I can't represent Pummel. And that if they have, if their hand is all 2 blocks, they can give me 2 cards and Tiger Stripe Shuko, which is no different than them having 2-3 blocks. I mean, I understand that I get the Shuko off the board, but I'm saying in concept of, like, their hand size, like, I'm not really, like, having, like, the capability to, like, really, like, torch their hand or anything where I'm getting to, like, take 3 2 blocks off the table, you know, because that does happen from time to time. So that's definitely a Sink Below in their hand. Like, in their arsenal, it's got to be. Like, it's that or it's their last Art of War. So, I can sink this. I could Fate this. Let's just Fate this and see what happens. Let's put this on the bottom. Give debilitate tech plating. Or do I just want to let this hit? Do I just not care about this? Like, am I just blocking 3? Let's see if they snap here. All right, so I called their bluff and it worked. I got a lot of value out of that. Now, it may not seem like a ton of value off the surface there, but there was a lot of value in the play that I just made. And so I think that was like one of those like small wins that like people don't really talk about when they're talking about coverage or like people playing. It's just something that I feel like a lot of people like overlook or don't think about. So they did have a sink below, and my opponent just gave it up there. Their hand must be pretty good if they're going to give up sink below. I mean, sink, terrace under, hammer. Seems not bad. I honestly, well, no, I think Adachi's is better against me. I think Adachi's is better against Bravo. Again, I'm just taking 3. Like, they could make something with cost 1, cost less. Like, so they do make Flame Call Awakening cost less. All right. That's, I mean, it's pretty sweet play. Like, I give them that. Like, that's a pretty cool play. They had Tunic regardless, so I don't think that me blocking that was, like, make or break in my situation. So I think I'm going to sink and put a Showtime on the bottom. Like, honestly, I don't really want both the Showtimes in my hand. Now, drawing a Spinal Crush is not what I had in mind, but I do have another sink below that I can hopefully use to put the Spinal Crush on the bottom and find a blue. I'm guaranteed nothing, but he has yet to activate Phi. I can just block with Spinal Crush here. I don't know. That feels pretty mid. We'll take the 1. Actually, they're not going to swing the next one at me. They're just going to Arsenal it. At least they should. I don't think that was a good play. If you have a Phoenix Flame in your arsenal and then you have a Phoenix Flame in your graveyard, you're playing with 5-card hands like the rest of the game, which is like very valuable. I can just throw the Spinal Crush here. Not a huge fan of getting rid of my other sink below, but I can just throw the Spinal Crush here, which is like they have to give me at least 1 card from their hand. Now, if they have a sink below, which we've only seen 2 of, I'm pretty sure. We've seen 2 sink belows, and they pitched a Reinforce the Line. So I was like, they're giving us minimum 1 card if it's a sink below and they give us Shuko. Or if they wanted to, they could give us Mask. Like, I haven't let Mask hit all game. I'm like, honestly, when I see Phi like this, it really makes me wonder. Just gonna block all of it. Feels like pretty aggressively unnecessary. It just feels like a bad block. Take 6, go to 7, throw a Crippling Crush, make a Surge. Feels pretty good to me. Like, they could snap this if they wanted to, but The other option is Terra Sunder Hammer, but I don't think that's where I want to be either. Man, I wish that was a blue. I would love to dominate this. I wish that my Crippling Crush or my Starstruck was a blue. Dominating either one of those would be absolutely insane. Even if they have a Sink Below or a Reinforce Line in their arsenal, then like this still requires like if they have a Sink Below in their arsenal, they can give me a 3-block from hand, Tunic, and then they can give me the Sink Below. The best case scenario here is that they have to give me 3 cards, 2 3s and a 2, just like that. And then they're going to go to 9, and they have a card in their hand and a card in arsenal. And I'm set up where I can block some and then throw Terra Sunder. Hey. That's not good at all. At all. Like, this hand is not good. I could honestly just try to cheese them here and go for the win. Like, I say cheese them because that's exactly what this feels like. Me trying to go for the pummel here, like on Zealous Belting, is like this is total cheese. Like, because this looks like 5 go again, which they might not block, and if they don't block with anything, okay, so they give us a card. I mean, I'm still going to play the pummel because my other option is Hammer for 4, and this is at least an on-hit effect. We had the hand. We had what we wanted, and we just didn't get there. Wow, my opponent just did not have a defense reaction. Goes to 3 and gives me a yellow brand, and then we're just going to pass. I still have equipment block left, so that's kind of cool. We can block Crippling Crush. I'm going to take 1 here, go to 4. When they throw the second Kodachi, I'm going to give them Tech Plating. Stay at 3. We're also not worried about a mask hit here. Or stay at 4, I mean. Yep. I knew that was a Phoenix Flame. Like, I literally just knew that was a Phoenix Flame because of when they played the Rise from the Ashes earlier, and I just completely forgot. This is one of those times that I wish you could take notes. So I honestly like Zealous Belting Hammer here more than I do Terra Sunder Hammer, because this is for 11 points. And if they have a Reinforce line, they can keep 2 cards and beat my Terra Sunder Hammer play. But this is just 4 more points, and they're at 3, and they only have 1 equipment block left. So I think we're gonna get all of their cards but 1, no matter what their hand is. And we still have Crater Fist to block with, which is kind of nice. So if they take 2 here, they have to give us 2 cards. Maybe we get lucky and they have to give us all 3. That would be clutch. Clutch for us, not my opponent, obviously. And then the Terra Sunder Hammer should be enough to clean up the game at some point. Like, maybe not Terra Sunder Hammer, but maybe we have like Terra Sunder Spinal Crush or something like that. Like, just like using Dominate to close out the game is like one of Bravo's best tools. Especially after an 0-2 start on the night, like, it feels good to be like in the driver's seat going into what is definitely towards the close of this game. This has to be a Reinforce line. Okay, so they have 1 more that they pitch stacked, and they're at least 10 to 12 cards from their pitch stack. So the only thing left that they can possibly have is let's go. It doesn't matter. They're both the same card. The last thing they can have are Sink Belows. I'm going to go to 2 here. I have no reason to waste my Crater Fist on this one. It's not going to kill me. and there's no reason for me to use my Sink Below here. And we're going to go for Terra Sunder Chokeslam. Because no matter what they draw, knowing that they have 0 Reinforced Lines left in their deck, they're dead. Do-do-do-do! Terra Sunder! Prank him, John. This is where my opponent realizes the game's over and they concede. And then I feel a little bit of relief inside knowing that I'm not 0-2 anymore. Oh. Who cares about a stupid star anyway? Take 7 and die. Kind of feels like our opponent's dragging it out a little bit here. I don't really know. Okay. It's like I don't like to preemptively good game just because like while I can definitely look at certain games and go, yeah, that one's over. Timely, crippling, crush. Crush, 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 crush. All right, 1 and 2. We're gonna turn this around. We're gonna turn this around. This is the start of us turning this around. Oh, actually, I'd like to play against Uzuri. Don't you tell me somebody else joined that game already. Gonna be honest, I think we want to go first against Uzuri. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I think we're on Titan's Fist and Buckler in this matchup. And we're on the 68 card special. We cut Zealous Beltings, which I think actually makes a lot of sense. Now, obviously, I think it makes sense because I put the sideboard guide together, but I still think it makes sense. I think it's a... like, 2 blocks are not great, so... Oh, great heavens. Good lord, that's terrible. Absolute dog water. Yeah, that's not a hand we were looking for. What is this? Reaction cards? Okay, so their hand is... they're probably just gonna do this and then pass, if I had to guess. Arsenal, their last card. So let's go Command and Conquer, and we're still representing Pummel, which I like. Now it's probably less Pummel-y represented. It's probably less representative of Pummel considering the way I pitched, but I do think we're still representing Pummel in a way that makes them have to respect it. And I realize I'm saying this as my opponent just literally had absolutely 0 respect for it. Unless they just have a Reinforced line in their hand, which is a possibility. What's the smallest number of creature/monster cards you've ever seen in a viable Flesh and Blood deck? So Iyslander is a deck that plays like all like spells for the most part. Like she doesn't really play attacks. And some of her decks have literally 0 in them. So like it's all like hero dependent, but if I had to guess, I would say most of them, most decks are composed of creatures, like attack actions is what they're called. But some decks have 0, which is kind of cool. We're just going to go ahead and put the Unmovable into play here. We'll make another Surge, throw Command and Conquer, and then I might actually just make a surge with might just throw hammer here. Might be a better play for me. Yeah, it's kind of cool that like certain decks can win without attacks in them. Like there's another hero called Kano that also has like 0 attacks in his deck 9 times out of 10. And I personally think it's a really cool like effect. Like I think it's really cool like deck building and like different ways for the game to be played. And I really enjoy that. So this feels like Sink Below and feels like Sink Below, throw Crippling Crush. So we're going to do it this way because if our opponent activates Azuri, we get to play play Sink Below. I have no idea why they activated Tunic there. I could just staunch this. Like, staunching this is fine. This is for 6. And from where I'm sitting currently, I take nothing. We get to make a surge with the Crippling Crush and then throw the hammer yet again. And then we get to arsenal my Sink Below. Like, so I had to use a little bit of equipment block there, but I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, I think I'm playing the game against Azuri the way I need to be playing it. They play a lot of defense reactions, and so like just throwing my big attacks is not going to win me the game consistently. I have to play this defensive style of Bravo and then take my big hard-hitting turns when they really come in. Like, this turn's probably going to be block and then play Sink Below, if I had to guess. Like, that's probably... Like, if I block with Debilitate here... I can play my Sink Below. Put my Thunderquake on the bottom. And then we have... It was like, interesting. My opponent activates Azuri. I'm going to play the Sink Below. Like, so the cool thing about that works out for us is when they play the Azuri, they have to take... when they activate the Azuri, they have to put the card into play, which is nice for us. Works out pretty conveniently. So, again, I'm just going to make a surge and throw the hammer. Like, I'm getting ready to go up to 62 cards, and then I'm going to go down to 58. So, I'm currently up 6 cards on my opponent every turn cycle. And I'm just going to keep whittling away at their life total with the hammer. Like, Azuri's kind of gone away from like the spreading plagues and like the other random things like that. So they're playing. This is definitely a red line list. The fact that they opened Crown of Providence, Flick Knives, and Whisperers tells me that they're playing more of like an aggro based list. So gives us a little bit more knowledge of where we want to be. Like, my opponent chooses Go again here. So I'm just going to block with Showtime. So I'm just going to block 6 here. I have no reason to do anything else. Surge is going to go off. I'm going to play Sigil, go to 38, and then pass. And so now I have to say, instead of being up 6 cards, I'm now at 4 cards, which is okay because the Azuri does like to play... The Azuri likes to play a fatigue-ish style of deck, so... I'm going to take the Hurl here because it's basically just negating my Sigil. And I have Chokeslam Pummel, which is kind of cool because I do play some pumps and some random things here and there. So it's not like it's the end of the world, but we'll see what my opponent Azuri's in here. If they activate Azuri, I'm going to pitch... I'm going to pitch Fighting Spirit. Actually, I'm going to pitch Diplomacy. I lied. I'm going to pitch Fighting Spirit. And I'm just going to play my Staunch Response. I have 1 left in my deck, but we're just kind of like using our defensive cards as they come in. Surgical Extraction. Okay, like Surgical Extraction can randomly get us here and there. So let's make a Surge, and then I'm going to play Warmonger's Diplomacy, and I'm going to choose War. My opponent chose War. I don't know if this is going to be like backbreaking against them. I know that like sometimes these decks play like Nimbalism and other stuff like that, so... So I'm just going to use Fate Foreseen to help cover up here. I guess they can't use Azuri. Oh, it's a reaction, so they can? Okay. Never mind. I knew that I did that way. I did it that way for a reason. Because in my head, I needed to have a reason for... Like, I needed a reason on why I did that. And what I did makes sense now. I mean... We'll just bottom the Rouse. Like, we're just trying to churn through cards here. Now, they could have, like, a Spike with Blood Rot, or, yeah, like a Shred is a good example. I was like, there's a few things they could have here that could definitely make this worth their while. They're going to Shred my Crater Fist so that at the end of the combat chain, I lose my Crater Fist. At least that's what they should do. I don't know what they shredded. Okay, so they did not shred my Crater Fist. So we'll throw Crippling Crush, which is gonna get at least a card out of their hand, maybe 2, depending on what their hand looks like. I hope Carly's not still asleep. It's 8:30. She'll be up all night if she's still asleep right now. It's like, do they have to have a defense reaction, right? I was like, yeah, something, because like, I was like, there's no way that you're just gonna discard cards. I'm gonna go to 31. We'll go Immovable, then Chokeslam. Wow, thought I put that on the bottom. I probably did put it on the bottom, and it just... Man, that's really bad. If he doesn't activate Azuri, I'm just going to take 1 and pay for the Pox token. My opponent does pay for... If they do activate Azuri, then I'm going to pitch my Disable to play Unmovable to cover up what they do. I'm just kind of leaving it in their court because either way, it pans out for me to not take any damage. So, well, I guess I'm taking one technically, but that's so irrelevant to me. I guess I could also throw 7, but I don't think that's a worthwhile. I don't think that's worth. I think I had enough for dinner. My stomach's making the rumblies that only hands could satisfy. I was like, I could play my pummel here, but I'd rather save it for my my last Command and Conquer that we haven't seen. There's also another pummel in my deck, so I'm just going to try and keep those cards in my deck if I can. I feel like I kind of have to treat this matchup like I did with a lot of Oldhams, like how I treated like how I would play Oldham, how I'd play Oldham into a lot of these decks. So this is block with Crippling Crush. Block with Crippling Crush, throw Chokeslam for 8, and then play Sigil. Now, their hand may not allow something like that. I don't know. Like, maybe they have a Shred here. I'm just going to block 6 and see what they do. Because all they have to do is activate a reaction. So, like, a Shred would be good into me right here. Like, Spreading Plague is also very good. So I'm going to get 2 Pox tokens. How many Sigils have I played so far? 1. So this is Sigil number 2. So I'm going to swing 4. Guys, thanks for hanging out tonight. Appreciate y'all keeping me company on a Thursday night. Trying to get some Nats testing in, so hopefully we're getting some good testing in. I'm pretty stoked about Nats. Like, one, I love Vegas as a whole. Like, I love to gamble. I don't hide that from anybody. I love to gamble. But I'm also just like a big fan of like Vegas in general and like just hanging out. I think I'm supposed to take 3 here. I can block Starstruck Chokeslam, pitch Spinal to make a surge, pick Terra Sunder to throw Hammer. Guess I am kind of like leaving it at them, like what they want to do at that point in time. So the problem with not having a reaction against Uzuri is that like if you're over blocking, they're just going to say, okay. Like why wouldn't they, you know? If my Chokeslam had been a blue, I probably would have blocked 3 and taken my chances because they played 2 shakedowns already. And I'm going to be honest, like they played 2 shakedowns, they played 2 death touches. Like I wasn't super worried about either one of those cards right there. Is that the 3rd Sink Below? It's the 3rd Sink Below, and we've seen a Frailty Trap, so they might also have a they might also have some Fate Foreseens, maybe some immovables. I don't know. Like it depends on how aggressive they thought I was going to be playing. This is pretty much take whatever they do and pummel a Starstruck here. Make a surge, throw Starstruck for 10, and then if they block in a way that lets me hang onto the pummel, I'm gonna hang onto the pummel. Like, what does this do? An inertia token. Boo. So we're going to leave 2 floating and just kind of stare at our opponent here and make them think, and like, yeah, we're representing the pummel. If they block, like, you know, if they block with like all 4 cards here, then I'll just let the pummel go to the bottom of the deck. Like, there's good cards at the bottom of my deck. Like, so it's not like I need to, it's not like I need to do anything there. Ow! Getcha. So from here, like, this is coming in for 14, like, which means they can't play, like, unless they have, like, an unmovable here, which I suppose is possible. No, do they just take 9? So they're taking 9, discarding a card, and then they... The only attacks they may play or activate... They click too far. The only attacks they may play or activate during the next turn are attacks with base power. So they can't use their weapons. Like, this really takes a lot of utility off the table for them. How is he playing this? I dealt 9 to him. Like, I don't think they can play that. Like, and I'm like, I mean, I'm going to ask my opponent to take it back. Like, unless they explain to me, like, how they're playing this or something like that, because it says base power, and I dealt 9 to them. Like, I'm just straight up gonna ask him, like, my opponent, like, I don't want the game to be played based on this. I don't like that. If my opponent like tells me to go pound sand, then I'm probably just gonna leave and find another game. Like, I'm not really having people like trying to play outside the scope of the game. Like, I play it's late. You can't spiders bite me either, dude. Like yeah, you can't. Nice. Okay, cool. Starstruck is just checking my opponent. Nice. I'm glad that like they coded this. Thank you, Talishar. Thank you for coding this. Because like this is the kind of stuff that I hate. Like I hate when people do garbage like this. And now I drew Command and Conquer Pummel, which is like Value Town for me. My opponent doesn't have Crown of Providence to bail him out here. Like, we're definitely on our way to winning this game right now, it feels like. Like, the Pummel Starstruck turn was insanely good for me. They didn't have a Shakedown or a Command and Conquer or anything else that they could have, like, put into play that could have ruined my day. But they didn't have it, and so it worked out really nicely for us. Oh, God said you love to see it. Yeah, let's go. Put my opponent 5 points lower than us, and we're taking the value out of their arsenal from last turn. Now this hand is premium dog trash. Like, premium dog trash. I'm going to Arsenal the Staunch Response here, I think. I think that's a better play. I see I woke up at a good time. Yeah, I literally, in the middle of this game, said, man, I hope she's not asleep. Like, I hope she's still not asleep. Because I was like, God, like, you're going to be up all night. Like, you were going to be up all night. All night. So, Sink Below, Staunch Response, and then we can make we can throw Hammer, Arsenal, Spinal Crush. Meh, 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 meh. Great, great argument. You'll love to hear it. I'm just gonna say no blocks. Were you asleep this whole time? That's a yes. That's a shame walking away of yes. So if this doesn't hit, which I'm pretty confident we can stop this from hitting, they don't have go again. Which is like kind of primo for us. We could just throw Spinal Crush here. If they have a Codex, it's pretty bad for us. I think I'm just going to make a Surge and throw the Hammer. I'm just going to stick with the plays that have got us here. Like, we're up 9 points. Did Nick ever join the Discord? I told him we'd play games. Told him we'd play if he got on, so I don't know. I guess Nick decided he didn't want to play. Maybe he's getting on a little later. Yeah, so there's Fate Foreseen number 1. We've seen all 3 Sink Belows. No, that's Fate Foreseen number 2. They must have discarded one earlier that I missed. Sink Below, put the Starstruck on the bottom. I mean, the play's still the same here. Sink Below, put the Starstruck on the bottom. Maybe I'm supposed to Sink Below from hand to play around them having Codex here. We're just going to Sink Below here. Sink nothing. I mean, I could just take 4 and Arsenal my Sink Below, but I don't think that's where I want to be. I think I'd rather just play the Sink Below and then not sink anything. So they did have a Shred, but we're taking it out of their hand as opposed to leaving them with it. So they don't get a silver off of that because they banished a blue. I mean, 9 dominates not for nothing. Because without you having an Arsenal, dude, like, I'm not scared of you, like, really doing anything. Okay, so they're going to take 5 here. That's their last defense reaction. At least I believe it is. It's their last Sink Below and Fate Foreseen. So they go to 8. They don't have go again here, which is pretty relevant for us. And then I did not realize we had any Sigil of Solaces left. Gonna be honest, I thought we were out of those. I mean, yeah, dude, like, I was like, I'll take 1 there happily if that's your only play. I honestly think I'm going to go to 12 and throw a Cranial Crush at my opponent. Maybe I'm supposed to block 6, throw Hammer, like keep my life deficit here. Yeah, let's play smart. Like, I could take 6 and throw 8, or I can take nothing and throw 4, which means my turn is a 10-point turn and then I get the Arsenal a card. Now, that's pretty tough. Like, that's a pretty good card for them. There can only be one more of those left in their deck. Like, I don't think that my opponent will have any more in their deck. Like, I mean, I guess they could. I feel like a lot of, like, I feel like the Spreading Play card is a 1 to 2 of in most decks, but there's at least 2 in my opponent's deck, which means they could just be tired of playing against, like, Bravo and other random, like, Guardian heroes. I was like, God, I get tired of that. Okay. My opponent's going to go to 4. I'm going to go to 14, and they're going to try and, like, have a swing turn here, I think. That's it. The only thing I can come up with is that they're going to try and have a swing turn here. I guess I could have given them my Fighting Spirit and kept my Buckler. It feels like it's 6 in one, a half dozen in the other, honestly. If they play a card that, like, gets my Arsenal, then I'll just play the Sigil. I mean, Terra Sunder Hammer's pretty good here. I can Fate Foreseen. Or I can go to 7. No, I need to Fate Foreseen because I can't Arsenal here off the Inertia token. I need to Fate Foreseen. We'll leave that on top. Our last Command & Conquer seems pretty good there. Like, the Shred is fine. Is it obnoxious? Yeah, absolutely. But, like, we're up 4 points. We're about to be up more. 5. Dominate. Now, they could give us a card, Flick Knives in the Tunic here, which is fine. Because I'm just going to play my Sigil of Solace here. Like, they can't have any more 0 for 4 defense reactions. There are no more of them in the game of Flesh and Blood that they are able to play in their deck, I believe. Yeah, it's all the Fates and all the Sinks. I guess they're trying to hang on to that Flick Knives for dear life, which I don't really blame them for. It's a good card. Very good card at closing games out at the end of the game. We'll go to 11 here. We'll just pass. Like, we forced them to give us, like, 2 very good pieces of equipment right there. Yeah, I'm going to take 1 here because if they do throw their last card at me, like, I was like, big deal. So I could throw the Macho Grande here, and they block 3, take 5. This feels like the best play here. All right, well, that game felt pretty good. We had Crown of Providence, Tectonic Plate, 1 point on Tech Plating, 1 point on Crater Fist, 1 point on Buckler, and Crown of Providence. So we had 5 equipment block left, and we were at 11. Or I'm sorry, we were at 10. Like, that's a pretty good game, I feel like. Now, my opponent may not have played very optimally. At one point, they did say, play, I'm tired, so... Block left. blocked. I'm going to put smartly, even though I don't really know if that's a word or not. I genuinely have no idea if that's an actual word in the English language, but I tell you what, we're going to roll with it because sounds good to me. Looking for Gay Missouri. All right. Well, I don't want to. Definitely not going to join their game. Well, we've turned our 0-2 into a 2-2. For anybody who missed it at the beginning of the stream, we played against Levia round 1, and we got kind of high rolled. They had a Blood Rush on turn 2 and a Blood Rush on turn 4. And then game 2, we played against Icelander, and we just fell behind early, and my opponent played well, and we lost. So, and then our last 2 games, we beat a Phi, and we beat we beat a Phi and we beat a Zuri that last round, so. Now we're playing against Dash. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know how you beat Dash without Pulverize. I just honestly don't think it's doable. Like, if I'm just being real, I don't think beating Dash without Pulverize is possible. I only have 59 cards, so I'm going to have to throw a Sigil back in, I think. But we're just going to have to try and play as much offense as we can. Dominate, pummels, like, do what we can. Now, if they open up, like, Aggro Dash with Pounder here, then we'll just block. We have no defense reactions, but I don't think we'll need it. I was like, but if my opponent's smart, then this is going to be a tough matchup. I've never played this matchup from this side. Oh, and they open turn 0 item. Yeah. Now, my hand's pretty good, so there's that. Like, at some point, they do run the risk of, like, running out of cards. They can get fatigued through damage, which is, like I know people use that as, like, a meme saying to, like, say that, like, I just killed my opponent, but, like, I believe that fatiguing through damage is a real thing, because if you throw enough cards and somebody just runs out of cards blocking, then that's what happens, in my opinion. You fatigue them by damage because they had to block. Yep, they'll give us a card. Like, they can only take so much damage before they're forced to block. Like, we really need our hands to line up here if we're going to win this game. I honestly, like, I don't think this is a favorable matchup at all. Talishar, Dash, and we went second. I got to remember that they opened a turn 0 item if it comes to it. Are they just taking 8, or do they have an unmovable? No, they're just going to 30. They must have some pretty good setup in their hand. So I can block 3, make a surge, throw Command and Conquer, Arsenal the Starstruck here. Because if we can let the Starstruck actually have Crush, they can't pistol us. I'm just hopeful that they can't actually play another item here. That would be bad for us. That's fine. I'll take 4. I have no reason to block right now, so... I hate throwing Command and Conquer without having Pummel available in this matchup specifically. Like, in this matchup, it is, like, way worse than it normally is, so... Just reinforce the line? I was like, they have to like have reinforce here. It's like there's no way they're just taking 3 and losing their arsenal. Crown of Providence is Starstruck to the bottom. Now we can dominate a Crippling Crush here. We do have to take a little bit of damage. I guess I could block with the Spinal Crush here on the next pistol. Or they're just going to come in for 5. Hate blocking with a card that I want to throw at them, but I think it's necessary for me to stay in the game. All right, well, 11 Dominate. Throwing multiple like Crippling Crushes at my opponent is definitely the way for me to win the game. So it's an unmovable. Like they have to have an unmovable here. Because like, there's no world where they're just going to take 11. Like, that's not how they win this game. My opponent's probably very comfortable taking 3. Let's go Rouse, then Cranial Crush. And then we can block 3 and swing for 11. So we turn our hand into a 14-point hand. I still think this is worth blocking 3. Like, they could throw another attack after this. I don't know, but I was like, this really feels like item setup. Let's put the pressure on him. Yeah, my opponent's going to block with those reds as early as he can. Or as early as they can. Could be a woman. I have no idea who I'm playing against. Okay. I honestly think having Pulverize in your Bravo deck is the key to beating these Control Dash decks. Like, and this is just Pivot Dash. This isn't even like hard Control Dash. This is just Pivot Dash. Block 3, throw Choke Slam for 8, Arsenal my Sigil of Solace. My opponent's obviously like a very good Dash player. Like, they're not like really like making what I would call like any like glaring mistakes or anything. Like, they're playing well. I mean, and if Bravo is gonna get really popular, then Dash is a sweet deck to play. Like, Dash is a good deck to be on because like even the like pivot version of Dash like kind of beats up on Bravo a little bit. At least it used to. I don't know if it does anymore. That was also when I was playing blue unmovables. But they're on Fate Foreseen, Reinforce the Line, and Red Unmovable. They could be on like they could also be on like Sync Belows, which I was like, I imagine they are. So this feels like a little bit more of a harder Control Dash than like normal, which will make this matchup hard for me. I have 8 resources. Oh, man. So I could throw Starstruck for 10 here. Like, I'd have to take 8. I'd take 8, throw 10. I can block 3, take 5. So throw 6, block 3, and then Arsenal. I don't really feel like arsenaling to Terra Sunder's worth here, I guess. Maybe I'm supposed to... Maybe I play Sigil, go to 30, like go to whatever I go to, pitch Starstruck, or pitch Terra Sunder to make a surge, play Warmonger's Diplomacy, Arsenal Starstruck. That actually feels like a pretty sweet line. That doesn't feel bad. That feels like my best line of play here. Warmonger's Diplomacy is actually very good in this matchup. Because, well... Yeah, those are actions. That's a reaction. So they can give it... They can't load it, though. Yeah, they can't load it. They can... I'm going to choose War. I'm going to see what they pick here. I imagine they'll go with Peace, but I don't know. I truly don't know what they'll pick here. Like, I feel like this card kind of buys me a turn. They're going to set up and load here. Play Spark of Genius. That's also very good. So if I choose to play Warmonger's Diplomacy again, I can do literally nothing. Of course, I chose War, so I can't activate Bravo or Tectonic Plating. Like, maybe I'm just supposed to play Diplomacy again. Maybe I go Starstruck and then Arsenal the Diplomacy. I mean, this could be like I could have a pummel here. They haven't seen a pummel yet. I haven't played one. I haven't seen one yet. I'd like to see one. I think I need to be seeing pummels. I'm gonna stay in the game. Okay. So my opponent respects it at least. Like I can like understand why they're respecting it there. I honestly think they should. So block Command and Conquer. Make a Surge, Zealous Belting, Warmonger's Diplomacy, Arsenal the Spinal Crush. They're going to reload it like another item and then swing for 4, and I'm going to take 4 here. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this game. Like, I don't really know how you're supposed to win games like this. Like, they're like, almost every single time I played Control Dash into a Bravo, like, it almost felt like a bye. Like, I would honestly just kind of, like, just sit there and stare at them because, like, it felt like there was nothing they could do most of the time. And again, we'll be choosing war, like, so that I can throw my attacks here. Now I have the option of throwing Spinal Crush with a pummel, which is pretty cool. This is a reaction, so they can give go again if they want. I'll block the last one they play because I want to block for as much as I can. And I need to keep 2 of my cards so I can go Spinal Crush pummel here. But if they play like another zipper hit, yeah, see, just like that. I can block 3 and take 2. So I could be like, I mean, I can't activate Plating or Bravo or Crater Fist, so it's like, am I bluffing? I mean, man. If they don't have another like 0 for 4 defense reaction here, this feels really good. They have Reinforced the line, it does nothing, which is awesome. They'd have to have a Sync or a Fate here, and this feels pretty good. This feels like a very good use of my pummel. Like, I was thinking that the Unmovable was going to come from their arsenal, so like it coming from their hand and giving me the capability to just like be like was really good. We get a card out of their hand. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I don't know what you want to undo. Maybe they want to discard a different card. That's fine. Yeah, like if my opponent wants to discard a different card, that's fine. Block Buckling Blow, tear asunder Hammer. I think they realized, they probably went to discard the 0 to 60 and then realized that they could play it. Now, they can block this out, like, no problem here, because they give us a card from hand, and if they don't have a defense reaction or something, they just give us the rest of their equipment. But they definitely have, like, a Sync here. Yeah, I was like, something. So funny, like, they could have done that last turn. It's weird that they didn't. So man, like, I know that they play a lot of blues, but like, geez. So block Showtime, or maybe I'm supposed to like use my equipment here. I don't know what's more correct here, if I'm being honest. I'm going to say no blocks and see if they give go again. So they have another blue in their hand, or they have a red. They don't want an arsenal or something. Load Chamber, load Purifier, and attack for 4. Yeah, I'm like right on the verge of losing this game. Their hands just haven't been awkward enough. Like, honestly, I feel like if Bravo's going to win this matchup, Dash has to have some awkward hands. Like, it's also a lot easier when Bravo's playing 3 red pummels instead of 2, and like, I was forced to put a Sigil of Solace in my deck. Like, that's not where you want to be in this matchup. Like, I don't even think you could win this matchup if you went like Titan's Fist and Rampart. Honestly, I don't think you could win that matchup even then. Like, if you were playing Heart, like, if you were playing the whole shebang, like, everything, I still don't think you could do it. All right, let's do it. Let's come in for 7 dominate. Like, again, like, if you don't have an unmovable or something, you're forced to give us all of your equipment here. Like, I wish I had gotten their equipment out of their hand earlier. The fact that they blocked with a blue tells me that, like, they have enough blues to feel comfortable, which is not where I needed them to be at. I needed them to have a worse hand here. Maybe they want to arsenal one of their cards. If I can get away with blocking with, like, my Rouse here, that would be cool. So let's map out my turn here. If I go pitch Rouse to activate Bravo, and then pitch Unmovable, play Rouse from Arsenal, revealing Chokeslam and Fighting Spirit, then I can pitch Fighting Spirit for Chokeslam, and then I can dominate Rouse. I can 15 dominate, which is ultimately not going to be enough to win me the game. So I might just be blocking with Rouse and just taking my turn that way. I'm forced to block like this. I mean, that's fine. I'm going to show you Fighting Spirit. It doesn't matter. And then I'm going to give you this. Take 3 and go to 1. Actually, I can't because I need to be able to... You're going to pistol me still? Go to 5, take 2, go to 3. And then... Oh, so now they're going to kill me this way. It's definitely earlier than they should go for it here. Like, they're going to go for the accelerator kill, and it makes no sense because, like, they don't know that they can kill me. Yeah, that's a, like, that's pretty weird to me that they went for it right there. Like, there's no reason for them to go for it, and I just happen to get caught with an unmovable in my hand. Like, I showed them the Fighting Spirit. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's pretty weird. Like, if I was a bigger streamer, I would say that they're stream sniping, honestly, because that's like that's a pretty bad time to use your accelerator. Use your accelerator when you know you have it. I don't know. That was weird. Maybe there's no downfall for using accelerator. Like, maybe they're not playing CNCs or anything. I don't know. All right, so that makes us 2 and 3 on the night. I didn't honestly think we were gonna win that game, but at the same time, like, that's a tough matchup. That's a tough matchup, and they open turn 0 item. So, like, I don't Like the Warmongers Diplomacies were kind of sweet. They bought us a little bit of time in that matchup, which I think was cool. So we definitely want to go first against this. Good luck, have fun. We're going to be on Titan's Fist. Like, we want all the defensive tools that we can. We're basically playing the same way we are against Lexi as we are against Azalea. We're going to cut Zealous Beltings because they don't block, and we're going to leave in all of our defense reactions. And we're going to go Titan's Fist, Steel Braid, Buckler. Let's go Disable to make a Surge. We'll pitch the Buckling Blow to play the Showtime. And then I guess we'll just get a Crippling Crush. Like, there are 0 copies of Pulverize in our deck, so there's no Pulverize to get. Warmongers Diplomacy looking good. Looking pretty good. Pitching a Rain Razors. Sad days are sad, but I've been there. Starting out with an arrow for 11. Like, I can block 9, 11. Like, I don't know. Like, 4 blues in a row means we're kind of due for a red. So if this hits, they're going to destroy the cards in my arsenal. Like, maybe I'm just supposed to block. If I go Chokeslam, Buckler Plating is 10, Iron Rot Legs is 11. I'm getting good value out of everything. I think this is a pretty solid block for me. They didn't dominate anything, so... How many cards were they running into us? There's 5 cards there and 3... They were running 72 cards into us. 72 cards is absolute anarchy. We're just going to throw this in Arsenal to Fate Foreseen. 72 cards? We were running 68. Good lord. They are worried about getting fatigued. They definitely came prepared for us to fatigue them. Honestly, not something I was ready for them to be ready for. But I mean, I guess it makes sense. Azalea, what did we go first here? We went first. 2 and 3 is not really where I hoped my night would be, but I mean, you know, I've seen worse things. They block 9. We save the Diplomacy for later. Save that for a rainy day. Sigil of Solace, eh? They left a card on top. They get a Bolton shot. Debilitate Fate Foreseen. Yeah, sure. Happy to enable chat, bud. Aww. I hate that. I hate that my opponent had to leave, but I get it. Like, I completely understand. Like, life is more important than card games. Unfortunately, I feel like not enough people understand that. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna mark that out of my games there. I mean, I have been the person in that spot who was playing a game and something came up, and I was like, oh, like, you know, like, wish I could stay, but like, gotta go. Sorry. Maybe this guy's not here. Maybe that's why everybody's left. We are waiting on them to... Shin Chan. Like that name. Yeah, I don't know why Nick never got on. Never heard from Nick. We're going to give my opponent here about like 15, 20 seconds, and if they don't jump in, we're going to back out and find another game. I mean, honestly, the idea of playing against Azalea seems like a fun game to me. Like something that I need to know how to play against. Like Azalea is like definitely not one of the like, you know, like top runners in the format of people of things that like people are like looking out for or anything, but you know. All right, here we go. Strap in. So in this matchup, I cut Fates, Staunches, and the blue Unmovables, leaving in the Sink Belows because they might be on the red line list, and if they are, then we need to be prepared to fatigue it. So neither of those are poppers, but... Oh, boo hiss. Ooh, they're playing Iron Rock Gauntlet? Might not be on the red line list. This might be like a more like... This might be more like Lost in Thought tells me it's red line. I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, let's attack them while we can. Like, let's force our opponent to block a little bit here, and like, sure, we're pitch stacking 2 non-poppers here, but like, I think we're like putting ourselves in a decent spot. Like, we're forcing our opponent to like give us a couple cards or a card and some equipment. Like, is it maybe better to play board clearing this early? I don't think so. Like, it could be. I haven't played a ton of this matchup, if you guys want the truth. Now, like Oldhim Dromai, I've played like until I'm ready to like, you know, jump off a bridge, but like I haven't played a ton of this. That was pretty weird. They're just coming in with Command and Conquer. I'm pretty inclined just to give them Crown. Put the Spinal on the bottom. Like, we're just putting just putting a good card there. Like, we're just putting a popper there. Okay. I mean, just decided to make some ash and throw a Command and Conquer at me. I don't know. I'd actually be curious to, like, ask my buddy Blake and see what he thinks about that line. Considering that, like, I have it on camera where I can see what their entire hand was. So, I like Starstruck because they can't attack with dragons if Crush hits. They can't attack with, like Ash Wings or dragons or, like, virtually anything. And so, that's pretty cool. I do enjoy that. I think that's a pretty neat interaction. Now, they could have a, what's it's called? Having a stroke. They could have a, God, I really am having a stroke. An unmovable there. They could have had an unmovable there, is what I was trying to say. That's not bad. Okay, opponent. Chill. Sheesh. I guess let's hit the Passing Mirage. We'll go to 39. And then I'm going to go Crippling Crush, then Showtime, Arsenal my pummel. I mean, this is 3 no Phantasm. I honestly think I'm just going to block with the pummel here. Like, it's unfortunate that our hand lined up that way, but I think that's what needs to be done. Yep. They understand this matchup. I can tell that they've played this a time or two. Man, that Command and Conquer pummel would have been sweet there. But, you know. My head ball should have been my uncle. You know, that's how the saying goes. This hand's not great. This hand's not great at all. Well, Sink Below is making it look a lot better. We'll go Sink Below and put the Diplomacy on the bottom. Again, not really what we wanted, but it's a lot of Rake the Embers. $36 poppers in our 62 card list. So half of our deck is poppers. So let's come in at the Mirror guy here. We need to get that thing off the board. Like, I don't think we're going to have nearly as good pitch stackable hands as we did playing playing Oldham. Yeah, we're just kind of playing like pop-em board control right now, which, like, I'd rather be playing offense, but this is how you have to play as Bravo, in my opinion. You have to play this, like, pop-em, safe, control, like, clear the board style thing. Okay, I didn't know what was happening right there. Now, this is a good hand. Just going to take 4 here. That's exactly what those equipment pieces are for. We're going to throw Spinal Crush Pummel at our opponent here and just kind of see what they do. We'll Arsenal the Zealous Belting, and we'll use the Zealous Belting on our following turn to kind of play board control cleanup here. Gonna go Choke Slam Terrace Under in my pitch stacking order. I'm not gonna play the pummel if they don't do anything. Like if they want to have no go again, I'm completely okay with that. So if I go to 23, I can go belting, surge, belting, hammer, keep a belting in my hand. I think I'm taking 7 here regardless. I could also go belting, belting, and then pummel one of them. Doesn't seem like a great use of... Yeah, let's attack my opponent here. They just pitched a mirror guy. We've dealt with a mirror guy. Like, and if we can put on enough pressure like we want to... Like, we want our opponent to feel like an awkward amount of pressure. That is what we want our opponent to have to feel when we're, like, attacking into them. Thought I heard noises in the Discord. Thought I heard somebody talking. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy! I can just throw hammer at them. Just keep more cards in my deck. They're just going to throw Yendera at me, probably, or an Ashwing. I'm just going to take one here. If they play a Sigil or something from their arsenal, I'll pop the second one. I'm going to go Zealous Belting at them. Into hammer at them, arsenal my Chokeslam. Like we're in that position where we're making them block a little bit, and that's exactly what we need to be doing. They had a very good turn early on in the game where they like took a little bit of tempo and kind of put us on the back foot, and it feels like they're going to try and do the same thing here. Closer I can get them to dead, the better for me. Are they just going to take 6 and go to 3? Their hand must be pretty solid. And, like, don't get me wrong. We're definitely, like, the game is not over. We have not won, like, there is nothing written in stone right here. I am hoping that I can take a little bit of damage here, pop a couple things, and then dominate Chokeslam to cross the finish line. Hopefully. That's, like, hopefully the idea here, but... You know, sometimes it don't play out that way. 3, no Phantasm. We're just going to go to 19. I have no reason to block here. We're going to activate Bravo. All right, let's throw a Chokeslam at you. Like, we might just, like, I don't think this will be it because they can give us a card, Furnace and Gauntlet here, and take 2 and go to 1. They might have a defense reaction. Like, they play sinks, they play things like that. We just saw them pitch a sink below. They probably have a sink below in their arsenal. They haven't really played anything from their arsenal in a while, so... And I am taking a little bit more of an aggressive line here as opposed to... actually going instead of actually like killing their dragons, which is probably what I should be doing, honestly. So they're gonna take 3 here, or they're gonna take 2 and go to 1. I mean, sorry, I'm just like having a... I can block with Chokeslam. I'm gonna say no blocks here. They're gonna snap this. Like, this is snap 30 right here. Like, 1000%. I can feel it. Might be Heartburn. I haven't taken medicine in a couple days. Yes, for everybody who's unaware, I take heartburn medicine. God, that's how old I am. Jesus. So again, we're taking 3. We're going to 12. I'm trying to close out the game here. Like, I'm doing everything in my power to close out the game. Well, if that's not a defense reaction in their arsenal or they didn't draw a sigil here, they are just dead. I guess they could have drawn a Sink Below in their hand. If they draw, I was like, if they drew a Sink Below. God, they drew a sigil. Are you serious? I mean, like, again, I understand that I'm definitely taking a more risky line here with what I'm going for. I'm just going to play the sigil, go to 15 here. And then we'll probably just arsenal, like, whatever we ponder off of. If I maybe not, but we probably will. They'll attack with the Yendarai or the Asvalai here. Will be their first dragon. Again, we'll go back to 12. Our Sigil of Solace is basically just mitigating their first dragon here, and then we're gonna pop the Ashwing that they swing at us. I mean, am I better off just hitting them at this point? Like, is that where the game is at? I'm gonna do it just for testing purposes, like just for theory crafting here, just to say, if I continue to go after you and your life total, can you punish me enough to kill me? And they probably can, but I'm willing to try here. Ooh, they go to 1. That's a cool card to draw. Okay. So we take 3, go to 9, pop back to back. Pop this. So I'm kind of playing that my next hand is gonna have a popper in it in some way. I mean, like, it's fine. I'm gonna go to 7 here, but like, man, if I would have been able to not die there, I guess I should have counted. I don't think I could have lived, but I didn't count. Like, again, we're just continuing to try to kill him here. I've committed to this plan, even if it's incorrect, and honestly, it was like 5 or 6 turns ago I committed to trying to kill them, and at this point, that's where I'm at. Like, you have to have your 3rd sigil, you have to give me another card here. It's going to be a couple of hands that I pitch stack there. It might bite us in the butt a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. If my opponent wants to undo, that's fine with me. Because we've had to play some of our attacks. Block 3. Yeah, like, this is tough because I'm just going to hit them. I'm just going to hit their Chromai this turn. And then depending on what's in their hand, we might just be dead anyway. Yeah, this has been an interesting game. I'd give anything to have that second pummel back. They're going to take a Command and Conquer here. I wonder if I'm in a spot where I can fatigue them. Like, how crazy is that to think about? So they take our blue, which is, like, fine. I don't think I can fatigue them because they have Burn the Malls in their deck. Yeah, like, I don't think it's possible, but I'm, like, winning a game from this point, like, with the game have gone so awry when I made such bad decisions. Yeah, now there's no way I can do it. So, make a surge, sigil, Warmonger's Diplomacy. Invoke Chromai, Lost in Thought, Invoke Chromai. I mean, that makes sense. That's like some of their best cards by far. And then I'm forcing them to choose War, which means they'd have to have a go again attack to start their turn. Let's see what they pick here. This has been a super interesting game. Like, I have left these dragons on the board for so long. And it's probably going to bite me in the butt. Like, honestly. My opponent chooses War. I'm also going to pick War. I'm going to play Sigil. Go back to 7. And sure. Like, if they have a Rabble or something here, yeah, like, that is worst case scenario for me. I'm gonna take 3 because I can dominate Spinal Crush and maybe cross the finish line here. Like, was Warmonger's Diplomacy just good enough? How can they do that? How can they attack me? I don't think they can attack me. Somebody in the chat can clarify for me. If they choose War, the only actions they may play or activate during their turn are weapon and attack actions. They're not activating their weapons, they're activating their dragon. This is an ally? Yeah, I think there's a bug here. Like, I mean, my opponent may just decide that they don't want to respond, but I'm going to sit here until they do. Okay. Like, I'm honestly not 100% sure, but it changes the entirety of my whole game. Like, it changes everything for me. Huh. So they're going to start their turnover. Interesting. I appreciate my opponent like being willing to like take back their play, like and like play the way that like I feel like the game is set up that way. Like if somebody is watching, like somebody in the chat, if you guys know that that's not correct and I'm wrong, then like please tell me. Like, please just let this be enough. Unfortunately, I don't also have the pummel, but like, they have to have 2 4 blocks here. Or an unmovable. I guess a reinforced line would also work. But they'd have to have like 2 reinforced lines here, or they'd have to have a sink below in hand and a sink below in arsenal. And I don't think that's like legally an option. Pretty sure maybe they've already, maybe it is an option. Uh-oh. If they do have double sink below here, that would be very bad for me. So they're going to play their sink below from arsenal and probably try to find a sink below, if I had to guess, because there is one more, but I think they pitched it a turn or 2 ago. Resolving playability of sink below. Let's see if they actually, a card, okay, so it does, Talishar does tell me that a card was put on the bottom. Wow. Cannot believe we won that game. Like, I don't think I played that correctly at all. Like, I think the way that I played is very loose. And I think if you end up, like, I think if you go back and watch that game, it's very clear that I should have played more board control. But I don't know. Let's see. Against the Dromai, we went first, win, played loose, and still won. Attacked them when I probably should have played to clear the board. So, I mean, Do I regret how I played? No, but I like we won, so it's hard for me to sit here and say, "Oh, I regret doing that." But I do think that it was definitely more correct to play differently. I think it was. I think it was more correct to play board clearing there instead of doing that. So who knows? Oh. Well, guys, that was it for the night. Appreciate you guys hanging out. 3-3 wasn't exactly the night I was hoping for. Bravo is something that I'm pretty familiar with, so I was hoping to have a little bit better of a showing. But you know, I really like Bravo. I feel like Bravo's in a really good spot right now. Bravo is one of the 3 to 4 decks that I'm really thinking about playing at Nats. You know, the two of the other ones that really stand out are Dromai and Lexi. I personally think that Icelander's kind of a trap right now, if I'm being entirely honest. Like, it just kind of feels like a trap. Could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. Like, Icelander just, I don't know. Like, I say that as a big lover of Icelander too, so take that for what it's worth, but that is how I feel about it. But yeah, thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. I will be back on Saturday, probably doing like an 8 to 10 hour stream on Saturday, just kind of hanging out all day at the house. So I will definitely be back on Saturday with some Flesh and Blood. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys in. Take it easy, guys.